Okay. Good morning. And
Buenos días.
Buenos días.
I'm using the hotspot of my phone because our Wi-Fi is still unstable. We're needing to get that updated. It's gonna happen in the next several days. So hopefully this will work.
If I read fast enough, that's all that matters. We'll get through faithfulness and that's it.
Go for it.
That's
Go for it.
lovely. That's lovely. Let's be faithful.
You have
I'm being
to read.
faithful.
See. You have to read because I didn't bring my English version book. I didn't have.
Uh-oh.
I thought Gary can read for us. Or
He can
David.
do it. He can do it. All right, is everybody ready?
Yes.
Okay, ears on, hearts are open. What now? Jesus.
You sounded so coursey.
Sounds so what?
Kursi.
I don't know this word.
It's an English word.
The extent of the teacher of God's faithfulness is the measure of his advancement in the curriculum. Does he still select some aspects of his life to bring to his learning while keeping others apart? If so, his advancement is limited and his trust not yet firmly established. Faithfulness is the teacher of God's trust in the word of God to set all things right. Not some, but all. Generally, his faithfulness begins by resting on just some problems, remaining carefully limited for a time. To give up all problems to one answer is to reverse the thinking of the world entirely, and that alone is faithfulness. Nothing but that really deserves the name. Yet each degree, however small, is worth achieving. Readiness, as the text notes, is not mastery. True faithfulness, however, does not deviate. Being consistent, it is wholly honest. Being unswerving, it is full of trust. Being based on fearlessness, it is gentle. Being certain, it is joyous. And being confident, it is tolerant. Faithfulness then combines in itself the other attributes of God's teachers. It implies acceptance of the word of God and his definition of his Son. It is to them that faithfulness is in the true sense, is always directed. Toward them it looks, seeking until it finds. Defenselessness attends it naturally, and joy is its condition. And having found, it rests in quiet certainty on that alone to which all faithfulness is due.
It's all or nothing.
That's the course.
Un poquito de eso que yo no entendí muy bien. Dame un resumen.
I say one a summary.
Toss it up.
¿Qué dijo?
Que no sé. What did you say?
Then offer one.
Un resumen. Un resumen. ¿Cómo se dice? Summary.
It's like trust. Trust and faith go hand in hand, and with them comes all the other characteristics. Because you really, really have to be convinced that this is true to be so forgiving with everything, and not to defend, and not to try to to get, but to give, and all the other characteristics need obviously faith, and faith needs like a translation, because they work together, trust and faith. As you are more open to the ideas that are shared, and they are more familiar to you, you're more willing to practice. As you practice more, you get convinced, and then you know that you can have total faith. So that's 9, ¿verdad? That's the 9th characteristic, la 9.
Sí.
Yeah, because the next one, it would be just apply it to everything. And obviously, it has to be retranslated, because the word faith for us represented something different.
Mm.
And it was kind of, at the moment that we get to the course, we're so skeptical of faith. And we're so fed up with religions, usually, that there's a period in which we have to be convinced bit by bit. And it's not really a convincing on the individual, but a cleaning of the mind of all the previous concept that is associated these words. And still, you will have always the ego trying to come in. Doesn't matter where you're at. You always will see the ego trying to take you back to its thought system.
Sí.
But it's so, just as it is a second for you to turn the ego to the Holy Spirit, if you're not vigilant, the ego can take it back as quickly.
Sure.
And no place of danger but what it is experience. Okay, real danger cannot exist. That's for sure. Because this is not, it's not debatable. It's just what is. And doesn't matter what philosophy you believe in, everybody gets to that point where nobody can talk about, but it has a certainty of being. But while we're still here, we will see those fluctuations in the mind. And that is only to the degree that we need more practicing. And then it comes to a point where the practicing becomes a joy. And then we don't get frustrated when we go back momentarily. It's just, okay, thank you. There's something else that I need to cleanse again. Let's do this. And you're more willing,
Mm. Mm.
Just as a personal experience, I always told Astrid that I will not come over. He just got here like the day before yesterday.
And there you are.
And I was sure that I wasn't coming over. I went to bed last night, and the overwhelming desire to come over here was so unexplainable that I had to pick up the phone and talk to Astrid. Of course, she said, of course, come, blah, 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 blah.
So it wasn't an earthquake in the middle of the night.
Exactly, I was waiting for the earthquake, but the earthquake was like something that it wasn't explainable at all.
See.
Because I was fighting it all night. I was fighting it, and I woke up at 5 in the morning, still fighting it. But I just had to say, okay, well, be you in charge. Because if it was for me, I would be still at home.
She has that effect on people too.
I don't want to. I don't want to go see her, but I need to go see her. I don't want to. That's the effect.
Yeah.
How long it lasts.
Yeah, and that's good. I trust that whatever needs to happen, happen.
I don't know.
Like
I
if
don't
she's
have a
here,
fucking
yeah.
idea
Even
what
if she
I'm
leaves
doing.
in half an hour, I'm fine with it, and she knows it. That's what's great because there's no expectation. There's no trying to create any type of like guilt feeling or control or anything.
Sure.
I think that that's the most loving way that you can be in a relationship
Yes.
here on this level, right? But yeah, going back to the fluctuations of the mind, like she was saying, and the frustration, because I could see myself, I don't get that frustration anymore. It's like, okay, because I already know what's happening, so I don't create, because frustration is it's like a product of guilt.
Todo.
So that doesn't happen for me anymore. But I do see the fluctuations in my mind in reference to the definition of forgiveness. Like the forgiveness that we're taught in the course is very different than the forgiveness that we're taught in the world or that we teach ourselves. Like there's something real, something has happened, you've done something to me. And so I see myself, and that goes back to her saying about vigilance. And when I catch myself, I'm like, this goes deeper in the sense that I'm believing what I'm seeing. I'm believing that what I'm seeing is true and it's real. And it's a whole process because you know it, you read it, you see it, and we talk about it, and we talk about it for years and years and years. But the belief is so strong, it has such a stronghold on the mind that even at this point, after 10 years, I still see myself, fluctuating to that, feeling momentarily offended or feeling momentarily hurt. And that's the moment where I have to do that work, and I have to repeat and repeat and repeat and repeat. But gets to a point where you, like she says, you watch it, you see it, you're vigilant, and you don't get frustrated about it. Yeah, and the whole definition of everything, all the words and everything, they all get redefined. We're talking about what is it?
Faithfulness.
Faithfulness, yeah. And what I was thinking about when you were reading, I didn't necessarily I was listening to the words, but not. It's really strange. It was more of a feeling. Like I felt like a peacefulness, and the idea that, what she was saying about trust and faith, that includes all of my brothers and sisters. I have that faithfulness that includes everyone. And it goes hand in hand with trust. It's very difficult to put into words. It's more of an experience and a feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah, so so when you see it like that and you have that perception, Adriana coming here or staying or leaving, I have trust and faith that it's the best. It's, I'm not putting any ego attachment or any ego definition on what she does, because there's a security in the love that we share, which includes everybody. So then the experience that I have with her, I can extend it. and it becomes non-personal. It has nothing to do with the figure of Adriana. Because if it did, we would be fucked.
Dito.
Yeah. Yeah, no, what you say makes sense. And that level of experience of faithfulness, it's available all the way along the process. You know, it seems generally that it's a bit more available when we dip into perceptions of the past and say, oh, wow, you know, this has been a time when I would have really gotten crazy or nutty or whatever, and it's not there anymore. It's maybe one of the useful elements of dipping into the past is just to see, oh, wow, this is no longer a sticking point for me. And it can support in its own way those moments of, I just see that for myself, having an experience when it arises of, wow, this is something that used to really upset me or what have you. And it encourages a continuation, not that there is a need to go back and depend on that, but when it arises with some sense of naturalness, it seems to serve a function, and then it's dropped and continued on.
Yeah, everything for, I think I know what you're talking about, the experience of getting these. For me lately, I'm getting these flashbacks of people and situations, and they're brought back to the present, totally washed and just free of an ego perception, and I can just see all the love and the support that I've had all along the way.
See.
And if there's some movement, like there's some like tension felt in any memory, then we know that there's something that needs to be forgiven there.
Yeah. Yeah, the continuation of forgiveness. Dave and I have been talking a lot, and just watching the ego making adjustments in perception to fit its outcome or its outcomes. And early on there were a lot of conversations about the experience at Camus and the boys and this and that. And even though it may serve initially as a pointing, or it has a perception of being valuable, it's still ego. And this is something that I've been watching more and more, how juicy the ego can make certain types of conversations. But yet when I sit back and reflect on it, it's a realization that in the end, this all still needs forgiveness. Yes, it can be deemed a learning opportunity, and it needs to be forgiven. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's all distraction.
See,
At the beginning, and I'm telling you, at the beginning could be 30 or 40 years, or maybe 60 or 70. We still value some things and have some preferences. And we think that those preferences are better.
Mm.
And It's really not.
No.
Well, it's a distraction, and it
Yeah.
cannot be good or bad. So ultimately, we have to be very honest within ourselves, and like what I was experiencing during this whole process of experiencing this desire to come, and then I call it desire, but it was something not as nice. It was something very powerful that overcame me, you know?
See? See?
Because for me, it had no need.
Mm.
It had no need, really. She doesn't love me more because I'm here. She doesn't love me less if I don't come. O sea, that is totally acceptable and known,
Yes.
you know? And all the preferences would say, don't go. You don't need to. You don't have to. But all of a sudden, something overcame that I didn't know what it was. I just had to pray and go to the Holy Instant immediately. And from then on, and still now, right now, because I haven't unpacked,
Oh,
the things are still in the car. I'm still second by second,
yeah.
in the observer,
Yeah.
In the observer, I don't have a clue. This doesn't make sense to my ego, of course. It would never will. I don't know what I'm doing here. I'm surrendering every moment and learning, just to be mindful and open to whatever. Because truly, since it happened in a moment, all night, during the morning, I was woken up at 5, maybe at 4, but I cannot resist it. But at 5, I said, I cannot do anything else to know. So I woke up, I started preparing, and all the time it's like asking for guidance because
See?
I
See?
don't know.
See?
Ultimately, of course, it's for forgiveness only.
Yeah.
And that's
Yes.
it. And then it kind of bring you to the present moment all the time.
Mm.
It has to be like that.
Exacto.
With everything.
Todo.
Yeah, yeah. It's not in the doing. It's like receiving, with the inspiration and trusting that, yeah, this I'm gonna follow this without any specific outcome. And it's just the development for me. It's just the development of trust. It's not that she's here, or that she has to come to see me, or she has something specific to do here. It's for her and her development of trust. Um,
To follow guidance.
Following guidance, and to not, bring in
Question.
any ego plan or question it. And if she got here, and if she feels an overwhelming desire
I
saying
can
to
go
leave,
back
she can go back, trust,
right
and
now.
that's it. That's what it's
Yeah.
for.
Yeah. Yes. Absolutely. But make sure you jump in the water before you leave.
Do I need a bath? That's
No,
what you're saying.
en la playa.
I'm just joking.
I don't know. I'd have to ask Astrid if you need a bath.
No, she's fine.
No.
She smells
Good.
like Adriana.
Fresh as a baby's butt.
Yeah, we have to trust and to have faith that everything that happens it has an order that we cannot comprehend.
Yeah.
Fucking,
Yeah.
no, you have to go to that place where I don't fucking know, and I have to see this with open eyes and with a bigger perspective that my own little definition of what should be.
Surrender.
and let me, yeah, surrender.
So,
I don't know. I don't have any idea. It doesn't make sense to me, but it's okay.
yep.
So we will see. Usually, when you trust and you have faith,
Mm.
you're given gifts that are recognizable. Because there's the ego opposing, and there's the willing mind to trust and surrender to whatever is occurring without trying to really have a tight grip on it, because the ego will try to get a hold of it. That's why you have to go to the present moment, right here, right now. When I was packing, I would say, "What right here, right now, what I need to do to solve it," and use it for constant prayer and communication.
Mm, mm.
So that was the only way that it could be done, and I could be like at peace with everything,
See.
even though my ego was trying to keep me out.
Yeah. Yeah.
David, are you taking notes?
I am. I am indeed. It's been interesting to just sit back and watch you guys going through all that. I felt that was it was interesting and probably beneficial for me.
Great.
I really like the idea of faithfulness. And the thing that tied into me was often I've wondered where I am in the journey. Probably everybody. I don't know if other people have that or not, actually.
See, everybody. You're not
Okay,
unique,
good.
Yeah.
David. You're not unique.
Good. Yeah, good. My point with that was I was like, maybe everybody else has dropped that already. That's where I was going with that. So, okay. But to see here, it answers that right here is the measure of our advancement in the curriculum can be measured just by how faithful we are. So with what Gary was bringing up, and I think he's got probably has some really great points there. I think there was some stuff there with the guys that clearly I had some issues in the moment, and that's probably why I reached out to all of you in trying to decide what the hell to do with that. But as we were talking, what I was telling to Gary is just we can only go our barometer, so to speak, is how we're feeling. And for me, in talking about it, in talking it out, it didn't have that. And I could be wrong. I'm in here. I'm just saying Gary was outside looking, so I should pay attention to that. But it didn't have that feel. And I thought the feel that we were attacking this thing. I felt more like it was a going through. And then I guess that's the question. You guys all seem to be of the same mind. That maybe that's not. I don't know if it's worth that or not. Am I being clear on that? Guess not, because no one's saying. I'm saying talking through it. I thought that there was maybe some value in doing it, but I'm not sure.
Okay.
So I'm kind of by. What do you guys
Yeah.
think?
Value in staying over there, you mean?
As the conversations that Gary and I had about it.
After the fact.
Yeah. Was there value in dissecting the experiences that Dave was having?
Oh,
There you go.
know?
Thank you. Yeah.
And
well, it all depends on how you feel after doing it.
Right.
to,
That's what I was thinking.
That's what is the purpose. That's
And
it.
for me, talking it out with Gary, it felt very good. It felt like things were just coming to light about myself. We weren't really picking at them because it's like how Astrid, you brought me through so beautifully. You kept everything right here on me as you should. And that's kind of how I felt we were going through. We realized they're not the enemy. This is their experience. So, and just going through that, I didn't know, but I thought Gary had a really good point to be vigilant to make sure we weren't getting taken away by that.
Yeah, because in that situation, when you can, the ego comes in and it could wreak havoc. Like it could come in with judgment, and it can come in with just you crucifying everyone,
Right.
and then justifying, just to justify your feeling, or your justify that you laughed, right? Say I couldn't handle it or whatever. No. That's not it. We're not going to go there.
Exactly. Yeah.
And you can always feel it. It comes to a point where when the ego starts to come in, sneak in, and that's important what you guys did, because you guys were vigilant to protect the mind and to protect your experience. But it gets to a point where when the ego starts to come in, it just feels so yucky. It feels and because I have that experience sometimes, and I'm like, oh wait, no. Go back into the mind and do your work, because I don't want to go there.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But
So
when I left those, I didn't feel that. I just felt like things were resolving. I think I expressed to Gary, I don't know, that I had a lot of faith, total faith that this will resolve. It will come out. And just by seeing it, that's what it was. So I don't know.
Yeah.
But this has been helpful, and faithfulness is a really great thing to focus on.
You can have faith in everyone, and each one of your brothers they're bringing you an opportunity to heal your mind.
That's the indebtedness that we have to them, right?
Yeah, exactly.
That's really that's the thing that's really been charging me over these. It has felt really good. It's felt good for me.
And then it gets to the point where you're just gonna love them wholly, completely.
That's what Adriana was saying about, you get to that where there's a joyousness in seeing these things, because you know what's coming when that releases out. So that's what feels so good for me.
Perfect. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Wow. Lindo.
Lovely. Yeah.
See?
So I feel like I'm complete.
Well, I'm not.
Okay, we can wait.
I just want to know what you two are up to today.
You have no plan.
I was just trying to see if I could get an answer.
I'm hungry. I'm gonna eat. I'm getting hungry. My kids just got home, and it's a fire too. So
I can hear the ocean in the background.
Lovely.
Yeah.
Enseñale la playa.
Se ve.
See it there, yeah. Beautiful.
see if we can see don't talk so that you can see it in the video. ¿Desde aquí? Right. Espérate.
Es que si lo levantas se ve.
Aquí. Do you see it?
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Sí, ¿verdad?
It's beautiful.
Yeah. That's our view. Seeing if
Do the boys fish at all?
no.
No. They won't be catching dinner.
I have a cousin who does deep sea fishing. You can that's his you can rent, or he has a service where he'll take you out either to the small little islands off the coast, or if you want. I've always wanted to take my boys to do that, so we have 5 months. Maybe I can do that.
Well, maybe longer, no?
Maybe, who knows?
Are you guys still kicking that idea around?
Yeah.
Or maybe living there?
Kicking.
Better to get the idea than to kick each other.
I missed that.
Better to kick the idea than to kick each other.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, for sure. We're gonna do the recording in Spanish. We're recording the text bit by bit, session by session in Spanish. And we haven't done that today, so
Oh,
after
good.
we did. Probably we
Sí.
will do that. Y tenemos que hablar del cuarto porque estoy pensando que el aire acondicionado se va a joder. We're still considering the accommodation. Because Astrid told me, yeah, you can come and smoke and blah, 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 but the room cannot be open. And it has AC and it has a lot of fabric. So
No, I'm sure
if
that
I
we.
smoke there, the room will smell like smoke for months. Probably Rafael has an arrangement with the guy and he will not want me to.
Mira, abrimos la ventana. Mira,
It's
eso tiene que
okay.
abrir. Eso tiene que abrir.
Lo que pasa es que los screens, the
Hay unos
screens
screens ahí.
están rotos.
Hay unos screens.
We're just kind of discussing this matter.
She's
It's
looking-
funny, you guys are just sitting there having a conversation in Spanish with each other.
But you can tell by the attitude what it's about.
She's looking for excuses.
I'm looking for excuses to flee.
The flea. Oh, all right. Well, I hope you find something if that serves you.
I don't mind. You know what? It's like with the operation thing that I went through it with the Holy Spirit. Like, 'cause I don't know if I mentioned that
Sí, sí.
I need an intervention
Sí.
because of my,
Very
My-
graphically. She expressed it graphically.
but then I had to be inspired moment by moment to see what's going to happen because there are many details that have to be sorted out. But it's all like that. It's just second by second by second. But then you have to take it to the last level. What will be the worst outcome?
Okay.
And stay with it. So you can then be comfortable with whatever happens along the way. And you can be open to any outcome. At least for me, that's the way that it's been given me. Okay, this is the situation, what could happen? Okay, blah, 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 blah. I play it all, I give it all, I surrender all. And when I'm sitting there not fearing anything, even the worst possible outcome, I know I'm ready to take it step by step and moment by moment because I don't fear anything.
Okay. Beautiful.
So faith,
Well,
it is-
you.
we
huh?
are faithful.
We
We are faithful.
Well, you two plus the
If you
rest
want to
have.
come to the island, you're welcome. Obviously.
That was for Dave. They didn't say
No.
me, just you, Dave.
Oh,
So
no, you means
Kidding.
to. You too.
It means too. I like that.
oh, okay. All right. I've already had the invitation, so I figured you were just extending it to Dave.
I will invite you every day.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
You 3, you 4, you 5.
Whoever, yeah.
Yeah, there are so many
Well-
beds around, but we
Sí,
can fit
sí.
many people.
Sí, nosotros somos latinos. Metemos a todo el mundo
See,
allá adentro.
everybody in the same room. You know how we immigrants are, you know?
Wow.
Just shove everybody in the room.
Boom.
Yep.
A little
Yeah.
joke here and there doesn't hurt anybody.
12 people in
No.
one bathroom.
And I'm smoking in the bathroom.
Everything that you need to do before 5, because the bathroom is hers.
Oh, that's true. That's true. That exists even there, huh?
You know, that's why I think that the condition is so fucked up.
¿Qué cosa?
La vejiga.
Ah, okay.
Do you have your beer? Did you bring your beer with you?
Oh, of course.
Of course.
That was the first thing in.
She called me last night. She's like, what should I bring? I'm like, well, bring your beer.
Yeah. And that flan in the freezer.
They are already in a cooler with ice.
Trae de flan.
Ah, el flan, sí. Le trae
Sí.
flan.
Ah, I'm eating flan.
Perfecto. I'm gonna miss that.
Sí, yeah.
Because you don't want to come.
Yeah. Well, look, you two have a great day, and the rest of your family, Astrid, enjoy, and we will talk to you mañana.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Enjoy yourself.
Love you both.
Bye.
Ciao,
Yeah.
ciao.